So first of all, I'm Jakub Czakon. I work as a data scientist at DeepSense AI. I do deep learning, machine learning, and I do a bunch of presentations. So that's one of those. We at DeepSense, what we do is we have quite a few things that we do actually. So one thing is we just apply deep learning part to problems that our clients bring to us. The second thing we do is we teach our clients or groups of engineers and starting data scientists how to do it well, how to work on those problems in your organization. And the third thing we do is products. One of the products is Neptune ML. Which is, you're going to see a very quick thing later on, which is a great tool to manage your deep learning, machine learning experiments. And now, why do you wanna hear another talk about Jupyter notebooks? Well, first thing is, as I see, there is a ton of things that Jupyter Notebook gives you that you don't use. Like I see a ton of people in my organization where people just use the plain old sort of basic 101 notebook and nothing else. And there's a ton of things that you should at least know about and not use them consciously, okay? So we're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff and another disclaimer, it's more than 10 things. I would really be happy if you got 10 things from it and used it, but if you take just one thing and learn just one thing during this presentation and use it in your work, I'm gonna be super, super stoked about it. Okay, so everything is available here at our repo, DeepSense AI. There's a repo for this one. It looks like this, and there is a super quick README that gives you actually the one important thing is just source the script, just source configure Neptune SH, and it's gonna set up an environment with everything you see here, and you can just run it. You know, it should work. We'll see. Okay, so let's start with something that is close to my heart: styling. The thing is, when you are working with those things on a daily basis, it's pretty cool to have it look cool. You know, like have some fun in your life. You know, look at something nice for 20 hours a day. Well, maybe less. So that's something that you probably know, just as a pretty much, you know, that's how regular Jupyter Notebook looks like. You can go to probably something like this, pretty simply. We're gonna see how to do it. Of course, it's branded, but some of us need it. When we work with your clients and need to give workshops, stuff like that, those things, you know, could be useful, could be helpful, and could add value. So we're gonna learn how to do it. And it's actually super simple, you know, like there's a few packages that you get pretty much, you know, with just pip install, you just get Jupyter themes, that gives you a bunch of nice themes. You know, one of them I'm using is Oceans 16. So that's the one that you see right here. And you can style different parts of it with Jupyter Themer that I haven't used. I have to say, I'm using this themes. Very simple way to actually set it up and have it. And the presentation, and you're gonna have something like this in your that's going to be your notebook. All right. So now, if you want to do more, so that's how the markdown will look. That's how the code would look. Now, if you want to do more, all you need to do is access this this file. Like there is a custom CSS file in this location, and if you want to write your own package and you know a ton of CSS, you want to do some super cool stuff about it, not like me, then what you need to do is just change this file. So here, very simply, you know, if you want to like change this background, add some sort of style to the border, you know, that's you can just copy your file, dipsensify in this case, and you're gonna have it exactly, you know, looking exactly that way. So that's pretty cool and super simple, and I would encourage you to use it. Like whatever you might want to add, you can, you know, style it to the way you want it. Okay, now, moving on to extensions. So this is a super, super cool thing that lets you go way beyond the, you know, the general, the simple vanilla way of using notebooks. So installing it, super simple. Again, there is a script in the README. You know, you can just run it, but it's very, very simple. Just 2 scripts. You just install it and then you configure it, and then you have it. And what they give you. So extensions are things that what you're gonna get is you're gonna get this this window here in your that's you have your regular file browsing, and there's this tab NB extensions. So this is the NB extensions, and there's a bunch of them that you can set. You can turn on and off and set up in a way you might want to set it up. Okay, so those are extensions, and some of them, there's a ton of them. You might use one or many. Some of them that I think are quite cool is split cell, for instance. So split cell, as you can see here, you have two cells, and one of them, you might want to have them next to each other, not one after the other. So what you would do is you would go ahead and do the split cell. And by the way, table of contents, if you're doing a presentation, quite a useful thing because it lets you navigate to whatever you might want to navigate. So in this case, split cell. Let's go there and let's split them. So I'm gonna wait. That's probably why you should not do the live demo. Okay. So now, well, did it do it? Let's split it, and it splits. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna just maybe close it, and that's how splits it works. You're gonna have two cells, next to each other. Quite useful from time to time. You can use it. So in this case, I want to print something here, maybe plot something there. Maybe I want to use it for debugging or something, and it could be useful. Another thing is Python 2 to 3 conversion. So you have some code that that is Python 2. You want to move it to Python 3. Pretty simple, right? So here you have I'm running the Python 3 here. So of course this is gonna give me an error, and this would be the correct one. And the way to go from one to the other is just use this. And now if you run it, you have the correct Python 3 code. So that's pretty cool and useful and very, very simple to use. Another thing that you might want to, I'm going to just go quickly to add the content. Another thing that you might want to have is code folding. Some long functions, you might want to have them, you might want to just fold them, right? You might not want to show them all when you're programming or when you're prototyping or showing it to your client, whatever you might be doing. That could be quite useful not to have it displayed. Another thing is limit output. So for me, what happened a lot of the times was I would have something in, let's say I'm running some code and it prints something, and I would forget about the simple problem that if it prints too much, then your browser will just go down the drain. So what would happen is I would maybe train some model, and then it would print a ton of stuff, and then I'm dead. Then it might just kill it at some point, and I wouldn't be able to access it. So what you can do is use limit output. So that's how I want to show you how to set up stuff with this NB extension, configure tab. So you would go to limit output, and you would limit this to a, potentially, let's say, this very small number of characters, 25. We're going to just refresh it, and hopefully, after refreshing this, I think I have to refresh this one. And as it does, we're gonna go ahead and print that. Well, that's quite a long time. In a way. Now that we have it, we're gonna go to the table of contents. It's here, and where is my limit output? We have it, and now hopefully the printing should give us a very, very reasonable output, not a lot, very useful if you don't want to run into trouble with printing too much. Okay, cool, let's move forward. So now snippets. Snippets for every proud copy-paste developer like myself. Snippets is something that you might wanna have. So what snippets lets you do is you have the snippets here, right? And the snippets lets you, access a ton of different snippets that you can just like paste here. So for instance, you forgot how to have this nice markdown, so you can just like copy it here and then edit. Or maybe you forgot how to write a class and you can have it, right? So that's cool, but you can also write your own ones. So I wrote a few, just two actually. One is let's say I don't remember how to load something from URL. So now I'm going to run it. Now that I run it, hopefully it's going to just get this image from the URL and put it here. Cool. So that's actually an image from the competition that we won, where you're supposed to find the place of crime actually in Portland. So this is from the blog. Read it if you like. And now they can give you also the sort of answers to life what do I need? So I need a coffee, of course, because I didn't get it because I was trying to configure the system before the presentation. So I need that. Now, why do you think this code is written by a data scientist, the snippet? Do you know? Yeah, there's NumPy as an import NumPy as NP. You should always do it. If you're a data scientist, even if you're not going to use it ever, just do it. I should probably import pandas as well. But okay, so we have that. Another thing that you might wanna use is hiding. So hiding, you have some really incredibly ugly function that outputs something that is valuable to your client, right? I should probably have it a bit larger. Sorry for that. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. And you can just hide it. We're gonna just toggle it, and it just eats it up and leaves just the part that your client might actually want. So that's pretty cool. Tree filter, another thing, super useful if you have a lot of files. Let's say we're gonna go to the resources here, and I wanna find a code as a JSON that shows me the snippets. So I'm just writing it, and if you wanna have those snippets, you just need to paste this JSON into the NB extension snippets tab, which is here. This one, yeah. And you would just paste it here. Okay, so if you want to write it on, just plug them in. All right, so that's, I guess, pretty useful. Could be pretty useful. Now, one thing I'm going to change, because there is some spots where I'm going to actually want more output, and I blocked the output. So we're gonna have it unlimited output now. All right. Probably I need to restart that thing. Okay. So now we had split cells, we had Python conversion, we had code folding, limit output, and the snippets, which are, I think, pretty cool. Hiding as well. And those two things. And the slideshow, of course, this is what you're seeing actually here. This is a slideshow made from that one, and you do it very simply by just going to view. In the view, there is a slideshow, and it lets you access this sort of argument that you pass, or parameter that defines what this part of your notebook should be. So that's, I think, pretty cool. All right. Now that we have that out of our way, we need to touch on another very important subject, which is magics. Magics are a set of commands or set of modules that are loaded by typing a percentage sign and a name of it, or either double percentage sign or just a percentage sign. There's a list of those, and I'd encourage you to just go through them and figure out which ones you need. I'm going to just show a few that I like, okay? Because it's my talk. Okay. So now, first, the line command. Line command means that you have just one percentage sign, and everything that is in the line is going to execute it. So in this case, I want to set up some environmental variables. So that's what env helps you do. Then you might actually want to change the output of the errors in the notebooks from none to something that shows you more about the errors, like colors them. That's quite useful, I think. Another thing is you can write to files, read from files, load the files, and things like that. So in this case, I'm going to just write a very simple code and write it to the file pythoncode.py. And then I might want to actually investigate that code within my notebook. So I can do that by just going to working with files. I'm going to show you this pycat command, what it does. So that's the one. And it should open, it opens the file. You can just inspect it. Useful. Okay, next we're gonna have the load. The load gets you the code from that file into the cell, which which means that you can now work on it and change it and then write it to file again. Of course, you can use it without it, but with it, it's just easier, faster. Okay, so that's pretty useful. Another thing that you might want to use is just run the script. So that what you would do with run. Important thing about it is you can actually run the, let's say, notebooks, and you're going to get the outputs from those notebooks into your notebook, right? So you might run another notebook, and there's some plots outputted, and you can have them inside of your notebook. So that's pretty cool. Okay, now for debugging, you can use prompt to profile or PDB to set up the automatic PDB on every error inside a notebook. So of course, if you want to really go debugging, then use IDE. But or maybe there's something that I don't know about. But this makes things just a bit easier. Now, something that I really like is, let's say I have an object in one notebook, and I might need it in another notebook. So that's how you store. So what you would do is you just, instead of serializing, pickling it somewhere, and then depickling it in other place, you can just store it and then access it from another notebook. So that's what you would do with Magic at Store. Okay, now timing, you can time a function, you can time inline, time the cell, or you can time it, which is going to mean you're going to run multiple runs over the cell and figure out what's the timing on that. Okay, some other things that you might want to do is if you actually are developing some stuff in notebooks and use so let's say you develop something in a module and then you want to see it in the notebook and not have to reload the notebook, then you use load external and auto reload, or there is reload external as well that you could use. So that's something that is very useful and lets you not refresh your notebook at all. Okay, so pdoc and the question mark, they let you see the doc strings of a function or a class inline. So you're gonna just check out what is the explanation. Doc strings and what this function is supposed to be doing. And finally, there is out of those simple stuff, there is a matplotlib inline that probably everyone or half of the room has used. There is some other backends to Matplotlib that you can use. There's, for instance, Matplotlib Notebook that will let you have some level of interactivity. So that's also pretty cool. Okay, now moving on. Well, we have CellMagic, and in CellMagic you can actually run a bunch of different languages inside of a cell and sort of create a polyglot pipeline with all sorts of different languages. So that's quite useful. You can write LaTeX as well if that's what you love doing, and have it in the output it in Notebook. Anyone knows what those equations are about? What is it? Yeah. Yeah, I hear it from around the room. Yeah, batch normalization. That's exactly that. Okay, you can write to file. That's what we saw, and you can run scripts. So you write something as if it were a bash script, and you write it and you have it. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you want to find some other magics, you can. There's a bunch of packages that you might want to find, like this one. Watermarks your notebook. Just shows you the just shows you when it was created, what are the versions of Python and some other stuff like that. Very, very cool. Now, you can also create your own magic, and it's not that difficult. You just need to create it in this sort of form. So here I'm decorating this class with magic's class. I'm decorating the method with line magic and call it a snapshot. And what this is going to be doing is it will give me the snapshot of a folder. So I'm going to pass a folder and the number of pictures that I want to have from this folder, and I can just see them in my cell. Pretty useful. You can of course write your own magics. That's why this is here. Okay. Now moving on. We're gonna touch on another very important part of notebooks that is heavily underused, which is interactivity. For me that's why those notebooks are super cool. Okay, so let's go to interactivity, and now we have. I figure I'm going to just show it to you here because because it's supposed to be interactive. So I want to show you that. So we have you can create your sliders. You can create your let's say range sliders. That let you select the range. You can have some buttons that choose some stuff. Let's say you might want to have you might want to multi-select a few models into your let's say comparison plot. You might want to type some words in order to get the let's say the sentiment of your model on that text sort of online. And I'm going to show you how to combine them, and what sort of binds them together is interact. So in this case, I'm going to just show you very simply how I'm combining two of them. One is just show me how many rows I might want to have, and it's just going to plot the rows here. And then let's say I'm going to select. Well, yeah, it eats it. So my mistake. I should have moved it a bit. Maybe I was sliding too much. Anyhow, you can interact with this and multi-select and change this. And of course, with plotting, it's very useful as well. Now, if you really want to use those, if you really want to use it for working with pandas data frames, then use QGrid. And QGrid. Yeah, QGrid lets you do even more. So you can, let's say, you wanna sort on this one, or you might wanna on this column, you might wanna do something like this, and then you have it. So it's very, very useful if you actually wanna do something interactive in Pandas and do it. Okay. Now some other things that might be very interesting to you is it's here we have, yeah, all right. Let's move on. Yeah, displays. So displays let you, for instance, you can see the video. So you can have a video, and you can actually in the presentation you can run it. It should work, and it does, right? So that's pretty cool. It works for YouTube as well. Another thing you might wanna do is you might wanna actually have some HTML that does something rendered inside of your cell. So in this case, let's say I wanna investigate Mr. Potato Head, and Mr. Potato Head gets investigated under the microscope. So that could be very useful for tasks like segmentation or something like that, where you wanna see how well your model is doing on a particular image, and maybe a lot of those images you want to have displayed here, and then you want to just like microscope on one and see what's wrong with your model. So other stuff that you could do, let's say you want to read a paper. Of course, you can read a paper inside of your Jupyter notebooks. Why not? If you wanna actually have a web page inside of it, you can as well. You can embed an iframe, and this is actually an experiment that I started 4 hours ago for the competition C discount on Kaggle right now. We actually started a C discount starter kit where you can extend it and you can run it with Neptune ML and have your experiments within this architecture, and also you actually can compute for free. First 100 hours is for free, give or take, $100 on GCP. So that's really, really cool. Check it out on our repo. Okay, so now that we have that, we're gonna move on. One last thing that I really want to show you is bokeh, because bokeh is beautiful. Bokeh lets you actually do even more interactive stuff. So that's a very simple example where I'm outputting an image, and then I want to have some functionality like hover tip all over it. So I can, that gives you this. You have hover tip, and you can invest. Maybe there's a lot of points on your plot, and you just want to see, in detail only a few. So on hover, you're gonna get it. A ton of different stuff like link plots, although those don't work with Notebook. But a ton of different things that you could use here, very useful. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I should have. All right. Okay, so I think that's it from me. Thank you very much. If you're interested in talking about Jupyter Notebooks or what we do or anything, there is a booth here. Codilime, DeepSense is part of Codilime, and of course we are hiring. So if you're interested, just give us a call. All right, thank you very much. Cheers.